Welcome to the Medicine Talk lecture, The Meaning of Health. This information is being presented for educational purposes, and nothing contained in this presentation should be construed, nor is intended to be used for medical diagnosis or treatment. It should not be used in place of the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider. Should you have any healthcare related questions, please call or see your qualified healthcare provider promptly, and always consult with your healthcare provider before embarking on a new treatment, diet, or fitness program. You should never disregard medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have read in this presentation. By continuing, you're indicating you have read and understand the medical disclaimer and agree to the conditions outlined. In this presentation, we seek to define the meaning of health by looking at various aspects that combine to create a balanced or unbalanced picture of health. Making changes to one's overall health can be overwhelming if taken on all at once. We have chosen 12 aspects so that changes can be made incrementally, like one change per month, which allows time for adjustment and integration. We start by asking, what is health? And not exclusively what is health to us, but also what is health to you. Building on this concept, we'll go into healthcare teams, mind-body medicine, nutrition, the fundamentals of organic food, water, sleep, vitamins and supplements, exercise, stress, environmental medicine, and finally detoxification. The definition of health according to the World Health Organization is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. The thing that is most striking in this definition is that health is so much more than merely a lack of illness and symptoms. It is, in essence, a holistic sense of well-being. When treating any illness in the body, it is important to address the root cause of illness rather than merely addressing the symptoms. Each person's state of health is as unique as their fingerprint and can be a combination of many things, including genetics, lifestyle, environment, financial resources, personality, and other factors. For example, let's take 3 patients that suffer from headaches. Giving the patient the same treatment, let's say an aspirin or some other medication, will treat their symptoms. But more than likely, the headaches will return until you discover and treat the cause of the headaches. For one person, it may be dehydration and mineral deficiencies. For another, it might be severe food sensitivities. And for the third, the culprit could be stress and muscular tension. But once the root cause is identified, a treatment plan that helps restore the body to health can be developed, and the headaches go away, never to return. Those treatments can be very different. Therefore, health becomes more of a journey rather than a destination. And often it requires us to examine our lives, to be conscious of the way we're interacting with our body, and to make changes accordingly. In this way, health is a process and a lifestyle. We have to develop a state of awareness, of consciousness, of knowing ourselves and knowing our body. To make it a lifestyle, one has to be aware of their current state of health. And this includes an awareness of how our body functions, what is going into our bodies, and what our unique needs are in order for our body to feel good. It also means being aware of how we feel and our state of physical, mental, and social well-being. Along our journey to health, there are issues that we can address on our own at home. For example, nursing a cold or flu with bed rest, warm liquids, vitamins, herbs. Oftentimes, people turn towards self-treating if they feel dissatisfied with the level of care they're receiving from their doctor. However, it is important to know when guided care from a qualified health professional is necessary. And remember, there are many kinds of health professionals, and you have the power to build the team that best meets your needs. So, turning to a single person to provide you with your total health care is a bit like asking your plumber if he can fix your sink and then afterwards expect him to rewire your house and fix the heat. Often we might unconsciously have this expectation from our doctor. One of the best things you can do for yourself is to build a team of people to help you keep all of the different parts of yourself running smoothly. And to do this, you need to identify your unique needs that address mind, body, and spirit. You might consider what your healthcare goals are, areas you'd like to improve, or how you would like to feel in a year. Once you identify areas to work on, you can then identify healthcare providers that can best help you meet your goals. So everyone should have a general practitioner who can focus on primary health care. This could be a medical doctor, a doctor of osteopathic medicine, maybe even a naturopathic doctor. But depending on your specific needs, you might also work with a nutritionist, a physical trainer, or a homeopath. When you've become healthy, you will not spend much time with any of these people. If you're already fairly healthy and you're just trying to fine-tune, a little input from the people best trained in the area you need help with can set you far down your path. It is important as you bring people onto your healthcare team to make sure they have the proper credentials. For example, you would want to make sure the person you're enlisting as your nutritionist has the proper training and credentials to serve in this capacity. Most healthcare professionals have some sort of credentialing process with national organizations that maintain professional integrity and set standards. If you're unfamiliar with the profession, do some research to ensure that your health is in qualified hands. And maybe one of the most important aspects of building a healthcare team is having a good rapport with the person and with the people. This means that they engender a sense of trust and likability. And too often, patients might stay with a provider they're unhappy with because they feel they do not have any other options. And the fact is, you always have a choice. So there are several kinds of healthcare professionals. Here is a list of just a few. For primary care, there are medical doctors, doctors of osteopathic medicine, and naturopathic doctors. A registered nurse practitioner is a registered nurse that has completed additional educational training in the diagnosis and treatment of acute and chronic illness, although the scope of their practice is governed by individual state licensing laws. Chiropractic medicine emphasizes the diagnosis and treatment of disorders in the musculoskeletal system, and chiropractors have attended nationally accredited schools of chiropractic medicine, have passed national board exams, and applied for state licensure. Naturopathic doctors are also trained in manipulative medicine. Perhaps a certified clinical nutritionist or a registered dietitian can be useful on your team and help you address your nutritional needs through diet. This is a cornerstone of health, nutrition is. And naturopathic doctors, chiropractic physicians, and these days some MDs and DOs are well trained in this, but they may suggest you work with a nutritionist to help develop meal plans and make sure your nutritional needs are being met, especially for people who are working with food sensitivities. A homeopath is someone practicing homeopathy, which is a system of natural medicine that promotes the healing of the whole person through non-toxic therapies. Naturopathic doctors receive extensive coursework in homeopathy, and for the Council of Homeopathic Certification has a very rigorous certification process for classically trained homeopaths who are not physicians. A traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, so TCM is the primary healthcare system in the People's Republic of China. And TCM practitioners seek to restore harmony to the body by balancing forces, yin and yang. And one of the most recognizable components is acupuncture, which uses thin needles inserted into points on the body called meridian points to stimulate and balance the flow of qi, also known as our life force within the body. Perhaps a physical trainer is someone to have on your team. These folks are people who can train you and work with you to develop the most optimal techniques for exercising your physical body and help motivate your efforts to get in shape or tone your body. And in a related field, physical therapists could be helpful on your team. They help restore and rehabilitate the body's physical mobility after injury or disease. There are other people who can help round out your healthcare team. Perhaps you need a medical specialist, such as an endocrinologist or a professional that specializes in a particular area, say for pregnancy. Licensed massage therapists can provide stress relieving and medical massages. Massages are a wonderful way to stimulate the lymphatic system, encourage the body to release toxins stored in muscle tissue, and can relax muscle tension. Other professionals you may want to include on your team are folks like your dentist. And there are many holistic dentists out there. The field is growing. Perhaps an ophthalmologist, your eye doctor. And in addition to your physical health, you may want to consider professionals on your team that address your mental and emotional health. It's important not to neglect these areas of your life. Several research studies have drawn strong links between our emotional well-being and our physical health. And so with this in mind, you might want to enlist the services of a counselor, psychologist, or other psychotherapist. These professionals can help counsel you on past or present trauma, teach important coping skills, and provide support for emotional issues. In addition to counselors, there are also various other kinds of therapists: music therapy, art therapy, writing therapy. These are all areas that can help an individual tap into their inner resources and creativity for personal transformation. And there are several research studies that have shown the positive effects these therapies can have on one's physical and emotional health. An excellent adjunct to counselors and therapists are support groups. Studies have shown that strong support systems can increase physical health. There are local support groups and online support groups that cover many types of life issues. For example, addiction support groups, single parent support groups for those diagnosed with a particular illness. And if you cannot find a group you resonate with, you can always investigate starting one of your own. A great way to do that is something called meetup.com. Now, life coaching is a relatively new field, but one that holds significant promise for people wanting to set and achieve goals that aim at personal transformation. An individual seeking life coaching may want to change careers or create more personal time in their lives to spend with family. And a life coach can make this process smoother by offering step-by-step advice, support, resources, and personal expertise. And finally, another professional to bring onto your healthcare team is perhaps a spiritual advisor or leader, one who can provide emotional support as well as spiritual counseling. And this list of professionals is by no means comprehensive, but it gives you an idea of the types of professionals you can seek out in order to build a team that meets your needs, body, mind, and spirit. Now, keep in mind that building a healthcare team is more than merely gathering a disparate group of professionals all working on different parts of your overall health. The goal is to have a synergistic team, right? This is not a standard model in mainstream medicine at all, so there are some considerations to take into account as you build your own team. First, you need to decide which of those healthcare professionals is actually going to be the hub, the one that pulls everyone else on the team together. If you are too ill to fulfill this role and bring everybody together, it may be a good idea to ask a family member to be your health advocate. This means communicating information from one professional to the next. For example, making sure your primary care physician knows the workout routine your trainer has put you on or the diet your nutritionist has suggested. This helps your physician, who must manage your overall health picture, keep track of what's happening with you. One benefit of having a naturopathic doctor as your primary care doctor is that NDs are specifically trained in this type of team approach. Often they have longer office visits that allow for more detailed, appointments, and they can counsel on nutrition and mind-body medicine. This alleviates the need for too many different kinds of professionals on your health team, but if you do have them, the naturopathic doctor has the knowledge, understands what's being said and why it's being suggested, and they can bring everyone together and make sure everybody's on the same track. Another very important thing as you choose people for your team is to make sure they all know that you're putting together a team approach. And not only be aware that this is happening, but they need to be willing to work with the other professionals. And it's okay to ask them if they will work on a team-based approach. And if they won't, then you find someone else. Because this is not a conventional approach, some professionals may not be comfortable with the idea of their patients getting health information from other sources or comfortable with particular types of therapies. So it may take time and adjustment to find the right combination of people, but really in the end it is so worth it because now you have a group of people working together on your behalf to bring you to your optimal state of health and wellness. Another thing to keep in mind, especially when using complementary and alternative medicine, is to ask for credentials. Most professionals will be involved with organizations that set professional standards. They'll either have state or a national license or certification or diploma from an educational institution. And it's okay to ask healthcare professionals for both their credentials and their experience. And finally, ask yourself, do you have a rapport with all of your team members, right? Do you feel understood? They should elicit feelings of trust and confidence. They should also make you feel listened to and understood. After all, this is your health, and you have a right to be happy with the people that you are receiving care from. So, moving on. That was building a healthcare team. Now let's talk a little bit about the mind-body connection. So there's a field of study called psychoneuroimmunology, and this is the scientific investigation of how the brain affects the body's immune cells and how the immune system can be affected by behavior and thoughts. Or in other words, it's the field of science that studies the mind-body connection. It seeks to investigate the relationship between social factors, central nervous system, the immune system, and disease. This branch of science is endorsed by the National Institutes of Health, and it's sometimes referred to as behavioral medicine. Now, research in this branch of medicine and science has clearly shown links between the mind and body. Basically, what one thinks and feels has physical manifestations. Various physical illness can be aggravated or ameliorated based on the emotions of an individual. For example, emotional stress can cause a flare-up of herpes, and feelings of frustration and conflict can stimulate an asthma attack. There are several factors in an individual's life that can affect their health, such as personality type, early childhood experiences, and the quality of the individual's support system. A type A personality may be more likely to develop coronary or artery disease. There was a study that showed women who suppressed their anger or who had feelings of guilt over their anger were at greater risk for developing cancer. Studies have shown clearly, and we know this intuitively, humans have emotional needs. And the emotional needs make up our sense of well-being. We all need a sense of meaning and purpose in our lives, a sense of connectedness, and acceptance from others, a sense of empowerment and personal control over aspects of our lives, as well as hope that things that are dissatisfying will improve. All of these needs contribute to our physical health in some way. So there are several techniques that can help meet these needs. All of these suggestions have scientific data to prove their effectiveness in raising emotional well-being and thus help contribute to better physical health. The first step is to be aware of your physical health. And this means developing an awareness of your needs and your innermost thoughts and feelings. And to do this, you might keep a journal or build a social support group where it's acceptable to discuss your feelings. But becoming more aware of your emotional well-being, right? Developing this consciousness about your emotional health can help you get as much social support as possible, work through feelings of hopelessness, cultivate a fighting spirit during times of adversity, and value yourself and your own inner resources. Another aspect in the mind-body connection is to learn healthy expressions of anger. It's okay if you get angry, but free-floating hostility, pessimism, and judgment can all lead to anger issues as well as suppressing and feeling guilt over one's anger. It's helpful to face upsetting situations early and remember that anger is not a primary emotion, but it's a transient emotion, right? It's transient in nature. It's also helpful to change one's relationship with anger, especially if you view it as a bad emotion that should not be expressed. It's how you express it, how you deal with it, how you transition through it that becomes important. Because we all need to feel connected to other humans, it's important to have a support system in your life. These can be informal groups, pets, friends, or family, all of which foster feelings of connectedness and emotional well-being. Studies have shown that infants whose physical needs were provided for but who were never held, talked to, or emotionally cared for developed greater instances of physical illness and higher mortality rates. Just this one section of studies, right? This one focus, along with many others, but even just this one can teach us that humans have just as great a need for love as we do for food and water. Research has shown that humor and laughter significantly increase the function of the immune system, decrease stress hormones, and provide both physical and emotional stress relief. Optimism, right? An optimistic outlook on life promotes health and enhances the immune system. In fact, there was a study in which study participants who were shown to be optimists were sick less often for shorter duration with longer lifespans. And you can increase your sense of optimism by encouraging positive thinking, practicing positive reframing, using guided imagery and relaxation, and through positive mentoring. Studies have also shown that faith, spirituality, and prayer can help individuals cope with emotional stress, increase their sense of well-being, and recover from illness faster. Practicing forgiveness, focusing on gratitude, prayer, and meditation are powerful tools to connect an individual with their own inner sense of spirituality. This doesn't necessarily mean you have to join a church. There are lots of ways to practice and express and embrace faith, spirituality, and prayer. Okay, mind-body connection, very important. Let's move on to talk about nutrition. You know, we hear so much today about nutrition, about what we should be eating and what we shouldn't eat, and should it be organic, should it be GMO? Does our food have all the minerals that we need? Lots and lots of stuff going on out there about nutrition. But here is the bottom line stuff, okay, about nutrition. Nutrition provides the basic building blocks necessary for every physiological process in the body. We have to be very mindful of what we eat and what we don't eat. Food is either medicine or poison, right? That's it. Food supplies our bodies with energy, nutrients, and proper hydration. Good nutrition supplies the body with vitamins, minerals, proteins, carbs, sugars, and fats. And depending on the quality of this food, it can either maintain our health, create health, or it can create burdens on the systems of our body that then lead to illness. There's no way around it, no secret magic pill you can take to make up for poor nutritional habits. So by mentioning nutrition, we're emphasizing the idea of achieving and maintaining health in part through food. We have to also acknowledge that in modern society, there's a high toxic burden on our bodies due to environmental and food processing factors. There are many things not in our control. The quality of the outdoor air that we breathe is just an example. The foods that are present for us in the normal everyday grocery store, right? That's not necessarily in our control. So we have to make clean choices where we can to decrease the overall toxin load on our bodies. Choosing clean and healthy food is one place we can start or continue if we've already made that choice. This means choosing whole foods, right? Not processed foods. Whole foods that are free of pesticides, environmental toxins, preservatives, artificial sweeteners, and flavor enhancers, and that are not genetically modified. A whole foods diet really means a food that is as close to its natural form as possible, has the least amount of processing and the least amount of chemical exposures due to additives and preservatives. So, a freshly washed apple. That is an example of a whole food, right? Not a fruit roll-up, not applesauce, not canned fruit cocktail. Whole foods support a healthy immune system, help maintain gut and intestinal health, and decrease inflammation in the body. In modern life, eating a fresh whole foods diet can seem overwhelming. And we get that, we know that. Hectic schedules and stress can make processed foods and fast foods a time-efficient alternative. But there are some things that you can do, like meal planning. This can be a very effective strategy for balancing the demands of a busy life with the need for optimal nutrition. There are strategies that we can use to help making a healthy diet easier. Like I said, do some meal planning, right? A little advanced planning can go a long way. Set aside time to plan the meals, find recipes, make a shopping list, prepare food for the week. This will help save time in the long run. There's many recipe books that offer simple, easy, quick, and healthy meal recipes. Decide on a few. Make a list of what ingredients you need. Head to the market with your list. This will help organize you when you're presented with row upon row of prepackaged and processed foods. Keep in mind that you can always cook larger portions of soup, stews, casseroles, and vegetables, right? And then you can freeze these into individual portions and have homemade frozen dinners for when life is too hectic to cook. Keep healthy snack alternatives around for food on the go, cravings, work breaks, snack time, and a few suggestions include fresh fruit, cut up veggies, whole wheat or rice crackers with healthy dips like hummus or refried beans, granola, nuts. And maybe making these changes are challenging, yes. So look around and see if there's a support group in your local area that has like-minded people who can help keep you motivated and give you tips and ideas. You could have recipe swaps, potlucks, right? All of this stuff. Shop together. It's always a very good idea to start slow and expand as you go. I know for me personally, when I started learning about a lot of this stuff, I felt so overwhelmed. I wanted to go home, throw away everything bad in my house. But that is expensive and very overwhelming, not only for us, but for our family as well. So try to start slow. Start replacing at least one meal per week with a whole foods meal. Work your way up to one meal per day, right? This isn't a diet. It's not about restricting your access to food. Healthy eating, healthy nutrition, eating for health is about switching and creating a brand new way of eating healthy instead of toxic-laden processed foods. We're switching to natural, healthy, fresh foods. And it's an investment for the long run. Okay, that's a nutrition basics. Let's talk a little bit about organic because, man, this is everywhere. And when we talk about organic food, the two most common questions that seem to come up is, what does organic mean anyway? And do I have to buy everything organic because, man, that is expensive? So organic is a general term that means different things in different countries, but basically it means that food and livestock are grown according to a specific set of criteria that limit the amount of organophosphates, antibiotics, and growth hormones. And in food production, it also generally prohibits genetic modification of food, so no GMOs if it's labeled organic. The term organic can be applied to more than just food. It could also apply to health and beauty products because these can also contain toxins as part of their ingredients, right? Either through chemical additives or the use of botanicals that have been chemically treated. And your skin is the largest organ of your body, and studies have shown that you absorb these toxins through your skin just as readily as through digestion from food. So many people are concerned about the price of organic foods, but the simple answer is that not everything needs to be purchased organic. If you can afford it, it is probably the ideal. If you have to make some budget choices, then carefully choose what you purchase organic. And if you do it and follow some simple guidelines, you can reduce your toxin load over 90%. So, there are items, both food and non-perishables, that should be purchased organically because of the likelihood they contain toxins, whereas other foods are less toxic, and so it doesn't make sense necessarily to spend the extra money if you are watching your budget. In general, because living organisms accumulate and store toxins throughout their life, meat and meat products should be purchased organic, and this includes eggs and dairy since they come from animals. Fruits and vegetables we'll talk about on the next slide. So, any meat, anything that comes from meat, right? Good rule of thumb. Other things are olive oil, and there's a number of reasons for that. But let's talk about fruits and vegetables. So, there's this group called the Environmental Working Group, EWG.org, and they have an enormous amount of resources and help on their site for helping people choose healthy products and healthy food and avoid toxins that are all around us. But they've identified this list of 12 fruits and vegetables that contain the most toxins. And it does change, so you want to go and check periodically. But in this list of 12 foods, it's commonly called the dirty dozen, fruits were consistently the most contaminated, right? And the top 6 are listed here. Peaches led the list. These are in alphabetical order, not the most toxic order. And if you eat these foods, you'll expose yourself to nearly 20 pesticides per day on average if you're not buying organic. So the contamination is actually inside the fruit or the vegetable. So washing doesn't remove the pesticide. And if you're going to eat the items on this list, it is best to purchase these particular fruits and veggies organically. Now, they also do a least contaminated, now being called the Clean 15. And these are the least contaminated. So you don't have to worry as much about purchasing these organically. Eating the least contaminated fruits and veggies, if you're not buying organically, exposes a person to only about 2 pesticides per day. So there's a little bit of guidance about organic. The Environmental Working Group is a great resource. You don't have to buy everything organic. My only caution I would give to you at this point is with all of the genetically modified foods that are being approved and processed out there that other countries are banning, right? Because other countries are banning these genetically modified foods, the manufacturers have to have a place to sell them. And so they're going to really ramp up in the countries that haven't banned them. And currently the U.S., this is 2015, the U.S. has not banned GMOs. So you can join that fight if you want. We deserve what every other country in the world deserves, which is food that doesn't make us sick. Okay, let's move on to water. Water is the body's most basic and fundamental chemical component. And about 60% of your body weight is made up of water, and every single system in your body depends on water. So some health benefits. We need water to detoxify toxins from our organs. We need water to carry nutrients to our cells. Water lubricates all over our body, right? Our ears, our nose, our throat, our muscles, our joints. And when we don't drink enough water, we become dehydrated, right? Slightly, mildly, average, significantly. But dehydration can actually be mild to serious, and it is where your body doesn't have enough water to perform normal functions. And it may or may not be related to thirst. Some people don't feel thirsty, but they can be very dehydrated. Some people can be very thirsty and be plenty hydrated. So thirst is not necessarily the flag that you need to watch for to tell you when to drink. We need a certain amount of water to stay hydrated. If you become dehydrated, you will have less energy, fatigue. Those are mild cases. Some researchers believe that chronic dehydration is actually at the root of many health conditions like arthritis, migraines, back pain, many. And not only is water necessary for physiological process, it can replace, when you bring more water into your diet, it can replace all those other beverages that you are drinking, which are absolutely not good for your health, right? So replacing a 20-ounce bottle of Coke or Diet Coke or something can save you about 220 to 250 calories, and you do something very good by hydrating your tissues. Getting more water into your daily routine doesn't have to be hard. Here's some tips for increasing your water intake. So one of the easiest ways is to carry a water bottle for easy access. When you're at work running errands, keep in mind that plastic water containers made with something called polyethylene terephthalate, or known as PET, or BPA, bisphenol A, can leak harmful chemicals into your drinking water. So health advocates recommend stainless steel, glass, or high-density polyethylene containers. So we, as naturopathic doctors, really like glass first, stainless steel second. Choose water instead of sugar-sweetened beverages. It's that simple. Instead of getting a soda, instead of going to Starbucks for one of those desserts in a cup, drink some water. Have those other things as a treat. Rarely, but as a treat. Add flavors to your water. You can add a splash of fruit juice, fresh fruit juice. You can add fruit itself, right? You can do things to the water if you just simply don't like the way water tastes. You can add things into it that will flavor the water and experiment. See what you like. Choose water when you go out to eat. Same thing. Have them put in, usually most restaurants, especially if they have a bar, have lemons, limes, oranges, pineapple, all sorts of things that they could add to your water for you. Okay, water, staying hydrated, very important. So is sleep. So sleep is actually essential for a healthy body. You cannot be healthy without enough sleep. And although it may seem like nothing happens while we sleep, actually, in reality, our brains are very active during sleep. We travel through 5 cycles of sleep, including REM, and we do this several times throughout the night. During sleep, human growth hormone is released in teenagers and young adults. Cells rejuvenate and grow. In addition, brainwave activity studies suggest that sleep helps the brain encode memories and recover from emotional stress. And sleep deprivation studies show a breakdown in the immune system, disruptions in the nervous system, and loss of memory and motor skills. Sleep may be one of the most important things that we all need to address as soon as we can to help our bodies have the time to heal and do what they need to do. You know, research shows that sleep-related problems play a role in illnesses. For example, problems like stroke and asthma attacks tend to occur more frequently during the night. Sleep also affects some kinds of epilepsy in complex ways. Illnesses that affect the immune system, such as the flu virus, trigger cytokines, which are powerful sleep-inducing chemicals. And in addition, sleep also plays a complex role in some mental disorders, such as schizophrenia. Some illnesses are exacerbated by lack of sleep, and some illnesses can cause sleep disturbances. But regardless of the relationship, it is clear that good quality restful sleep is essential for a healthy mind and a healthy body. And our sleep needs change depending on our age and activity level. So a general rule of thumb is about 9 to 10 hours for teenagers and young adults and 7 to 8 hours for adults. It's important to keep in mind that each person is different and has different needs. So an individual who is under stress, either physical stress from an illness or an injury, or emotional stress, may need more high-quality sleep than normal. It's important to be in tune. This is another example of being aware of your body's needs, and when your body is talking to you, listen. It'll tell you. You just have to learn to listen to it. Now, there are several types of sleep disorders that can be diagnosed using a sleep study administered in a sleep clinic by specialists. There could be a disruption in the circadian rhythm or a natural sleep cycle, especially for those people who work night jobs or shift work, and this makes it very difficult for them to stay on a sleep schedule. Insomnia. This is a problem either getting to sleep, staying asleep, or both. And it can be short-term based on circumstances or chronic and long-standing. Sleep apnea is where you have an obstruction of the airway passage, and this can lead to lack of oxygen in the brain. Restless leg syndrome. This can cause unpleasant crawling, prickling, tingling sensations in the legs and feet with a constant urge to move them for relief. And then this leads to constant leg movement during the day, insomnia at night. And then you've got narcolepsy, which causes us to have frequent sleep attack at various times of the day, even if you've had a normal amount of nighttime sleep. People with narcolepsy can also experience things like cataplexy, which is loss of muscle control during emotional situations, hallucinations, temporary paralysis when they awaken, and disrupted nighttime sleep. So, lots of different things can be going on. Someone who is trained in this can help you identify what it is, what's going on. And some sleep disorders can be addressed with sleep hygiene and other natural methods such as deep relaxation and meditation. Some should be treated by working with a specialist. But what are some things you can do right now to help promote sleep? Sleep specialists call these habits or sleep hygiene. Number 1 could be keeping a schedule, right? Training your body. This means going to bed at a certain time each night and getting up at the same time in the morning. Sleeping in on weekends makes it harder to wake up early on Monday morning because it resets your sleep cycle for later awakening. It is a myth that you can catch up on sleep. You actually can't. What sleep you miss is gone. So you can't go 3 hours a night for 5 days and then sleep for 14 hours and catch up. The damage is already done on all of those days where you slept for 3 hours and you didn't make up for it on the 14 hours. All you did was completely disrupt your sleep-wake cycle. Another thing is exercise. Daily exercise of only 20 to 30 minutes can help people sleep better. Although a workout right before bedtime can interfere with sleep because of all of the chemical reactions and hormones that get released in the body. So for maximum benefit, try your exercise at least 5 to 6 hours before going to bed. You can experiment with that. You'll find that maybe you lay down and go to sleep just fine if you worked out an hour before. You want to avoid stimulants, caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, and chocolate has caffeine in it. So caffeine acts as a stimulant and it will either keep you awake or, because I've had a lot of people say, coffee has the opposite effect on me. It makes me tired. Okay, maybe your experience of being awake or tired, but caffeine stimulates your body processes. And so it can be working in the background even though you feel tired to keep things stimulated and keep you from going into those deep sleep cycles. Sources of caffeine include chocolate, as I mentioned, coffee, soft drinks, non-herbal tea, diet drugs, many pain relievers. And smokers tend to sleep very lightly and they wake up in the early morning due to nicotine withdrawal. And then alcohol can rob people of deep sleep and REM sleep. It keeps them in the lighter stages of sleep so you don't get the full healing benefit of sleep. Relaxing before bed. This can help prepare the body for sleep, so a warm bath, reading, other relaxing routines. You can train yourself to associate certain restful activities with sleep, make them a part of your bedtime ritual. If it's possible, wake up with the sun or use a very bright light in the morning, maybe the natural light bulbs providing the full spectrum, right? Sunlight helps the body's internal biological clock reset itself each day. Sleep experts recommend exposure of up to an hour of morning sunlight for people having problems falling asleep. So that early morning exposure helps reset your circadian cycle. If you can't get to sleep, don't lay in bed awake, right? Experts say get up. Try another activity like reading, maybe listening to some soothing music. The anxiety of being unable to fall asleep can actually contribute to insomnia. Maintain a comfortable temperature in the bedroom. You want to really pay attention here. How do you sleep your best? Extreme temperatures can actually prevent you from falling asleep. Too cold, too hot. And your body, as you sleep, loses its ability to control temperature during REM sleep. So the extremes in temperature can also wake you up. And you may not know why you're waking up, but it could be due to the extremes in temperature in your room. If improved sleep hygiene, so all these things we were just talking about, these are your sleep habits, your sleep hygiene. If it doesn't help improve the quality of your sleep, it may be very important to seek the help of a knowledgeable healthcare professional. Naturopathic doctors have a lot of alternatives, natural alternatives that can help alleviate symptoms, but it's really important to get to the root cause of why you're not sleeping well. And for some disorders like sleep apnea, this may be an anatomical thing and you may need some type of breathing equipment. So it's important to work with a specialist, a health professional that can help you figure out what's going on and how to fix it. Moving on to vitamins and supplements. Very simply, supplements are things like vitamins, minerals, herbs that can help promote health by providing nutritional and other types of support to the body. They are available through health food stores. They are available through qualified healthcare practitioners. And I just want to say a quick word about the quality. So many folks talk to us about, they find things online and they're like, my doctor wanted to charge me $27 a bottle for this, but I found it for $22 a bottle at Amazon or at this online vitamin shop. Why am I finding it so much cheaper elsewhere? And this is what I say. Most of the companies that put the research and money into making sure that their products are clean, quality, healthy, they've been screened for metals and toxins, it costs more, and most of those companies do not sell online. They sell only to healthcare practitioners who can make the determination of what each person needs. It is very likely, if you're finding them more cheaply at some discount place, that you're getting something that is counterfeit. It's a knockoff, and you could be doing more harm than good. It's worth the few extra dollars to get it from someone who's getting it directly from the company that does the testing and has the guarantees in place that what they're selling is actually what's in the bottle. So just something to keep in mind. A few more dollars is you're worth that. Right? You are worth that. So from a naturopathic perspective, just for the general approach of vitamins and supplements, each person has a different supplementation need. So you will never see a naturopathic doctor that says, go buy Centrum 1 a day. Absolutely not. That's just like saying, go take an aspirin for your headache. We are going to evaluate things like diet, lifestyle, genetics, financial resources, an individual's state of health, right? Now, it's true that starting with a good quality multi and minerals and a good quality essential fatty acids like fish oil or flax oil is going to benefit most people, but which one you use is important, right? A good multiple vitamin is important. Why? Regardless of which one you use, it's important because most Americans eat more than their fair share of nutrient-depleted processed foods that lack significant nutrition, and because of over-farming has created depleted soils, which means the minerals are not there. In addition, our body needs more nutrients to help cope with our stressful modern lifestyle. So, good quality fish oil is important. These contain omega-3 fatty acids, which reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke, helps reduce symptoms of hypertension, depression, attention deficit disorder, joint pain, other rheumatoid problems, as well as certain skin ailments. So we know at least these two, right? And probably quite a bit more, not a lot more. It depends on what the underlying cause of illness is. And like I said, all those factors that need to be evaluated, what types of vitamins and supplements you should be on. I can tell you that many studies have shown that the average American is commonly deficient in B vitamins and magnesium, also in vitamin D. Both and all three help the body deal with physical and mental stressors. Okay, so sort of to wrap up this whole idea of vitamins and supplements, this last idea is that certain forms and certain levels of quality make a difference in what you're putting into your body when you take supplements. So some forms are well absorbed and easily used by the body, while other forms are poorly absorbed and difficult for the body to use. So unfortunately, the less well-absorbed forms tend to be more commonly used because they're less expensive for the manufacturer to make their product, right? And it's easier for the manufacturer to purchase. A naturopathic doctor or other holistic healthcare provider who are trained in these things can help you select high quality vitamins and supplements. Here's a chart you can use to evaluate whatever it is you're currently taking, especially if you bought it off the shelf in Walmart or Kmart or Walgreens or CVS or wherever your local place is that you're getting a great deal on vitamins. You can look at some of these ingredients. Because of ocean pollution, fish products they contain toxins and contaminants like mercury. And so there are some major U.S. producers of fish oil supplements, and some of them are good and some of them are not. But the really good ones will purify their products to reduce or remove contaminants like mercury and dioxins. The Environmental Defense Fund has conducted a study of 75 brands of fish oil to determine which are the safest, and it's important to get a fish oil from a brand that adheres to these high purification standards. So check out the labels of what you got at home. See if, at least for these ones we've listed here, you're taking a good form. And now let's move on to exercise. Exercise is any bodily activity that increases your pulse, engages cardiovascular system, or strengthens muscles, right? And exercise is super beneficial to our overall health because it improves our mood, right? It stimulates various brain chemicals that help us feel better, that actually cause us to be better. Regular exercise can help you prevent and manage high blood pressure, boost good cholesterol, decrease bad cholesterol, and help prevent type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, and certain types of cancer. Regular physical fitness can help you burn calories and assist with detox and increase your metabolism, and all of these things help you manage or lose weight. It helps your entire cardiovascular system and your respiratory system because it ensures the circulation of blood. It helps blood vessels work more efficiently. It can help you fall asleep faster. It can deepen your sleep. Some people exercise in the morning, but if you're having trouble sleeping, you might want to try a later afternoon workout. The natural dip in body temperature 5 to 6 hours after you exercise might help you fall asleep better. And because exercise improves your circulation, it can lead to a more satisfying sexual life. And men who exercise regularly are less likely to have problems with erectile dysfunction than are men who don't exercise, especially as they get older. Lots of activities can be considered exercise as long as it gets your heart rate up and works your muscles. So one of the best ways to incorporate exercise into your daily life is to work it into your weekly schedule and make it a habit. And to alleviate boredom, try mixing it up with different activities. Here's some ideas for increasing your physical activity. You could join a gym, bring along a friend or a family member, take a class like cycling, aerobics, or kickboxing, take dancing lessons, especially swing, ballroom, or jazz. Walk in different locations. Walk in new and interesting locations like parks, other neighborhoods, walking trails. You could make it a family affair with hula hoops, trampolines, jump ropes, or hopscotch. Swimming is a great and wonderful way to exercise. You can do it year-round, although you'd have to join some organization that's got a heated pool in the winter probably, or try something exotic like belly dancing or yoga or Tai Chi, right? And you can do different things on different days so that you don't get bored and you'll find that you actually look forward to it. Okay. One of the things that we know is a killer, a silent killer, a vocal killer is just not good for us, is having unmanaged stress. Now, stress is a mechanism that your body uses for protection. So stress in and of itself is not bad. It's how we have been able to survive as a species so far. If you cross the street and a car comes speeding at you, your body will have a stress response that enables you to act more quickly than you would have otherwise and get out of danger. This is acute stress, right? And the mechanisms developed to help protect us from the dangers of living in the wild, so to speak, serve us well in modern lives as well, where we're not necessarily threatened by the same physical dangers we were when we lived out in the wild. But now we've traded that stress that would come and go with stress from emotional things and psychological stress from jobs and life events. And this has become part of our daily lives, and it happens all day long, and we don't have good stress management techniques, or are we able to recognize that we're under stress and what to do about it? And therefore we start to develop chronic stress. And this is the killer, the chronic stress. Chronic stress has many effects on the body. It can increase heart rate. It can make us take short, shallow breaths. It decreases our oxygen throughout our body. It can stimulate the release of stress hormones like cortisol and neurotransmitters like adrenaline. This can lower our immune system function over time. High levels of stress can lead to many physical ailments like headache, back and chest pain, heart disease, high blood pressure, decreased immunity, upset stomach, stomach ulcers, sleep problems. It's more than that. Chronic stress can also lead to emotional symptoms, anxiety, restlessness, irritability, depression, burnout, forgetfulness. All of these things can really contribute to something else that's very detrimental, and that is a decreased sense of well-being and self-esteem. So, there's many strategies that can help you manage stress. In fact, psychoneuroimmunology, right, has an entire body of research devoted to the relationship between our emotions, where we talked about the mind-body connection already. So devoted to the relationship between our emotions and the central nervous and immune systems. And much of the research in this branch of science investigates the effect of stress on the body as well as strategies that mediate its effect. Here are some strategies that can help reduce the physical effects of stress: meditation, visualization, time management, support groups, enjoyable hobbies. There's all kinds of things. And there's some great stuff going on out there to teach you how to manage the stress and stress relieving practices. It's important to make sure, though, that the strategy you use to reduce your stress truly does reduce your stress. Sometimes we choose activities that we think will be good stress relief, like spending time with a friend. However, the dynamic may be one that actually stresses us out even more. So maybe this friend or family member is having an off day, or maybe we'd rather take a long bath instead. So it's important to observe your body when you're choosing a strategy. You should feel relaxed and at ease. You should be able to turn off the chronic worries and anxieties. Your breathing should be deep and full. You should feel an increased sense of well-being. This is how you know you've found the right strategy for you, and it could be different strategies on different days. It's important for me to say that it's often that people feel guilty when they waste time on themselves, but man, this is so not true. If you don't take care of you, who is going to take care of you? It is not wasting time. Think of it as part of your health building regime, right? Try to focus on the health benefits to your body and mind. And in the end, taking the time will improve the quality of your health and your well-being. Environmental medicine is so hot right now. It's incredible. Hot meaning people are finally taking notice of it, becoming aware of it, and demanding that our environment be less toxic. It focuses, this field of medicine focuses on the increase of toxins in our modern world that can affect our long-term health. And some of the things we're exposed to, you may not feel bad when you're exposed, but 30 years down the road, boom, it is the underlying cause of very serious illnesses. Now, the toxins can occur indoors from various chemicals that we can have complete control over, like paint or cleaners or air fresheners. And it can occur outdoors, toxins can, from various environmental sources like jet fuel, car emissions, smog. We've already talked about how we have very little control over what's going on in the external environment. You can join groups that can help make that different and change it. We have already discussed clinical nutrition. Toxins can occur in our food from pesticides, water pollution, and fertilizers, and you have control over what you eat and put in your body. So there is control. You can make changes to your toxic input from your environment. One of the most pervasive toxins in our modern society is from the use of organophosphate pesticides, which is actually chemically related to nerve gases they used in World War II. There's much debate among scientists about whether or not these substances cause birth defects, cancers, and other health problems. Some people say yes, they do. Some people say no, they don't. It's interesting to go and look at the groups that say no, they don't, and trace them all the way back to who's paying their paycheck. Very interesting exercise to do. Anyway, another source of these toxins is indoor and outdoor extermination, and these compounds can be found in products like Dursban 7 Dust and others. So, something you can watch for. Make sure that you are not exposing yourself to it. Now, even though consumer industry maintains exposure to these chemicals is limited and regulated within each product, this does not account for the pervasiveness of these chemicals in our environment, which can compound within our body, and they work together to break down various body systems, as well as lower immunity. And if our detoxification system isn't functioning optimally, or if we're exposed by various means to too many toxins, it can be difficult for our body to completely eliminate them. I'd like you to think for just a minute. Maybe the manufacturers of different things, whether it's food items or cleaners or things that paints or whatever, maybe they all meet the requirements to have no more than a certain amount of something in their product. But if you're buying multiple products and consuming multiple foods that have these things in them, you have cumulatively way exceeded what is a safe level for your body. So just think about that when you want to rely on the thoughts that the government keeps you safe by limiting the amount of something in a product. To help combat these toxins, naturopathic doctors and other holistic healthcare practitioners use gentle detoxification and immune-boosting therapies. They may recommend diet changes to help eliminate preservatives, dyes, artificial sweeteners, and flavor enhancers. Treatment can also include eliminating toxins such as heavy metals, molds, pollution, and other chemical substances. But with small changes in lifestyle, a person can really dramatically reduce their daily exposure. And this is an important part of helping the body remove necessary blocks within the system and allowing the body's own healing mechanisms to work better. So what can we do? There are some areas we might want to concentrate on to reduce you and your family's toxic load, and to maybe get help from feeling too overwhelmed by making these changes. Just incorporate the changes slowly over time as you can afford them. So organic foods, again, focus on meat, dairy, and high toxin, removing high toxin fruits and vegetables. Maybe take a look at the beauty products that you're using. Right, because it definitely will reduce toxic load. Switch from chemical-laden cleaning products to all natural solutions and plant-based cleaners. For example, a solution made with half vinegar and half water will clean glass while giving you a streak-free shine. You don't need to get things that are full of chemicals to clean your glass. To help with indoor air pollution and allergies, invest in an air filter or add air purifying plants to your home or your office. Water is another excellent area to reduce our body's toxic burden. Water filters, right? These can be applied to faucets and showers because those toxins come in through the water system. You're getting them in your bath and your shower too. And they sell filters that you can put on your bath and your shower head. You can buy filtered water to drink and cook with. This presentation includes a guide to water filters in the resources section. Another overlooked area for toxins is your dental fillings, which some health experts say lead to heavy metal toxicity in the system. And whether or not you replace these fillings depends on how long they've been there and who you're talking to. So a great thing to do is work together with your naturopathic doctor and a holistic dentist to make sure that your body's supported if you're having these removed. Make sure the metals are, your body's being supported from exposure, re-exposure to the mercury and the amalgam filling, etc. Using environmentally friendly and all natural laundry soap that's free of petrochemical fragrances and dyes that can add toxins to your system, especially the fragrances, which are often stabilized with formalin, which is a formaldehyde derivative. It keeps the scent there, but then you breathe it constantly all day long, you and your family. And then choosing environmentally friendly building materials such as paints and woods and siding that can help reduce the toxin load within the home, just in addition for being better for the earth. Now, last but not least, in our little tour of ways that you can create better health is detoxification. Many medical systems throughout the world focus on detoxification, such as Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine systems. In general, detoxification is about resting the body's internal systems and about cleaning and nourishing the body from the inside out. So the basic philosophy is to remove and eliminate toxins while feeding your body healthy nutrients to help protect you from disease and renew your ability to maintain optimal health. The body cleans itself. We have detoxification systems in place. Our liver, our kidneys, our intestines, our lungs, our lymph, our skin. However, this process can break down if we're exposed to large amounts of toxins or if toxins build up over time. And detoxification can help us rest the organs through fasting, stimulate the liver to drive toxins from the body, promote elimination through the intestines, kidneys, and skin, improve circulation of the blood, and refuel the body with healthy nutrients. Today, with more toxins in the environment than ever, it's critical to detox, says Dr. Linda Page, PhD. She's an ND PhD, and she wrote a book called Detoxification. Page recommends detoxing for symptoms such as unexplained fatigue, sluggish elimination, irritated skin, allergies, low-grade infections, bags under the eyes, a distended stomach, even if the rest of your body is thin, menstrual difficulties, mental confusions. So there's many ways to do a detox program, and it's important to enlist the guide of an experienced healthcare practitioner who knows how to do this, because you can make things much worse by stimulating, overstimulating certain parts of the detoxification process, under supporting the pathways to get rid of those toxins. You can make things worse. And I know they sell lots of great do-it-yourself detoxification kits in most health food stores, but in this area, I always strongly encourage people to work with someone qualified through a detoxification. And different doctors do it differently. Naturopathic doctors have pretty extensive training in detoxification. They can help you design an individualized plan. There are other qualified healthcare practitioners that can help as well. Just some examples of how things differ. So some naturopathic doctors will recommend a 7-day schedule that involves fasting on liquids for 2 days, followed by a carefully planned 5-day diet that allows the digestive system to rest. They may advise certain supplements, herbs, exercise practices like dry skin brushing and hydrotherapy, or you may have somebody who says, you know, I do this for 14 days. We ramp into it. We do this for the middle part, and then we ramp out of it. Different doctors do it different ways, but they all have knowledge of the detoxification symptoms. Some docs recommend 3 to 7 days of juice fasting, maybe 3 days every month. Some cultures drink only water for 1 day each week. So different ways to do it. Most important thing, I think, is to work with someone qualified who can design something for you that you can do regularly. Quarterly, monthly, twice a year, however frequent it's determined that would benefit you. And that pretty much wraps up the meaning of health. And what have we talked about? So just the core things here. Health is not just the absence of disease, but it's a sense of social, mental, and emotional well-being. We talked about many areas that can be addressed to increase health, like sleep and diet and managing stress. That one of the best ways to be successful is to make your changes gradually, right? Incorporate them into your lifestyle. Let them become a part of every day for more lasting change. And that this is a journey, not a destination, a journey. It's a new way of eating, a new way of living, a new way of thinking that can bring about this transformation of health and bring you to a state of optimal health. So here's our resources and some further reading if you're interested. And I just want to wrap up by thanking you for joining us today and listening to this presentation. We are all very passionate here at Medicine Talk about spreading the word of naturopathic medicine, about holistic health. And each of us have our own reasons for working with and being dedicated to Medicine Talk and our mission here. But ultimately, it is about educating as many people as we can to the choices that are available to them in this journey of health. Feel free to reach out to any one of us with comments or questions. We love your suggestions. I encourage you to tell us what you think. And most importantly, we would greatly appreciate you telling your friends, family, clients, and colleagues about the work we're doing. Like us, follow us, share us on all your social media, because together with your help, we can tell the world. So thanks again for joining us today, and we look forward to our next visit together.